Hello, it's Jane again. Today I thought I'd have a go at making some beaded plants. I know they've been going viral on TikTok lately, so why not have a go? I picked up these rather nice brass bowls with flowers around the edges from the local boot fair, managed to get 2 of them, and they've got holes already drilled in the sides, which is really handy. So, by the magic of TV, here's one I prepared earlier. I've added some Florist Oasis that I happen to have, glued that in nice and firmly, and I've used some old bits of chain from broken jewellery, as I always do, and made this into a nice hanging basket. So, let's get into my bead stash. Well, I've been through my bead stash and I've dug out everything that I can find that is green from my broken and unwanted piles, and also bags of green beans that are left over from other projects. So let's get sorting this little lot out. Right, I've got some wire. This is actually green floristry wire and it's about 12 inches long. And what you need to do is at one end, you need to make a loop to stop the beads falling off. So if you bend the wire to a 90 degree angle, about 1/4 of an inch down from the end, and then with some round nose pliers you bend over and make a little loop. Bend it over until it meets and pinch it closed, center it on the wire, pinch it closed, and there you have a little loop at the end, and that'll stop the beads falling off. Quite simply done. Okay, you see that? And then you can just start threading the beads on. So I'm choosing to do a repeat pattern because I think I'm quite a methodical person and I like repeat patterns. So I think there's nothing to stop you putting the beads on the wire, seeing if you like the way they look, and then change it, swapping it out. So I haven't used any bugle beads yet, so they're all still threaded on the cords. I wanted to try using some bugle beads and see if I like the pattern that they produce. So let's just go for a simple one bead, one bugle bead, and see how that looks. I need to start throwing some of that thread out of the bugle bead box. That bugle bead is incredibly tight on there. You can decide if you like the pattern and just take them off and start again if you don't. Easy peasy. I do like these bugle beads because they've got quite a bit of shine to them, so they'll add a bit of bling to their plant. Of course, if you're buying your beads brand spanking new, then you get to choose obviously the sizes and the colours and the textures of the beads. If you were buying them new, I would go for a good variety of textures because it'll add to the interest, a real mixture, but that would be my personal choice. But as I am a upcycler and I'm reusing what I've got in, then it makes it harder. I should have unthreaded all of those before I started. Okay, yeah, I think that looks quite nice. I like the fact the bugle beads are in different shades of green as well. So different colours. And you just keep threading and threading until you get to about 2.5 inches from the end. And then obviously you need to leave a little bit to actually stick into your styrofoam or your oasis or whatever you're using as a base. So keep going. And then when you get to about 2.5 inches from the end, you need to finish it off so that beads don't fall off the end. One of the simplest ways, I've been watching lots of YouTube videos, and one of the simplest ways I've found of doing that is to use a very thin piece of wire, insert it through the hole of the last bead, fold it in half, and holding the bead in place, and wrapping it around the stem of the wire. This will also give the wire that you're inserting into your foam some more strength as well. So give that a little wrap, keep it nice and tight, and it will hold your beads in place. And when you obviously get to the end of the wire, just tuck the ends in nicely. There we go. There's one strand. Now I reckon that to fill the little pot that I've got up completely, I'm going to probably need somewhere in the region of 30 strands. So let's keep making. If you happen to have a one-step looper and you don't have any needle nose pliers, you can obviously use your one-step looper to make the loop at the end of your wire. If you've never used one before, very simple. You insert the wire underneath this little spot here, and through, there's a little hole at the far side, through the hole, and then close it, and voila, you have a loop. I do find that I often need to just check these myself and pinch them closed a little bit more, particularly when I'm jewellery making. They can be, if they're a fraction open, some small pieces can fall through them. And now I can start beading again. And there we are. We've made lots of strands, lots of long strands, a few shorter strands because I had some shorter wires, and also I made a few and just twisted them at the base so that they're sort of a bit like leaves. So I think now we can try and put it together and see how it looks. Off of Amazon, I acquired some fake moss because I did try a few pieces in the Oasis, and to be honest, it looked a bit bare. So let's try some of this fake moss. Yep. That might be a bit too much. Gosh, it really sticks together. And that's probably the piece I need. I'll just fill that out. And I think the wires will hold this in place for me. Right. And then it's just simply a matter of arranging your beads. I'll get them in and then we'll do some sorting out. It might be that I need to make a few more, but let's get them in and see how we look. One thing I will say about doing this project is I was having a look at how much it would actually cost if I bought all of these beads new. There was a lady I was following on in America who made one of these, and she was saying that she spent over $100 on beads to make her plant. So I looked on Amazon, and to buy 2 boxes of assorted green beads in assorted sizes came to $17.99. If you also consider buying the wire and buying the moss was £5, buying the dish and everything, I think it would be very easy for this project to cost somebody in the region of £25 to do, which to me seems quite a lot of money. Certainly commercially, I wonder if it would be feasible to even recoup this if I was selling them. Just a thought, but I do think it's quite an expensive thing to make this. Let me know your thoughts. Has any of you made them? How much did it cost you? I'd be interested to know, but I'm just wondering, the people who make these and sell them at craft markets, I'm just wondering how much profit they do get out of them. Slipped a little. And beads are just slipping down, and that obviously haven't got the wire at the end tight enough. See if I can tighten it up with a bit of a squeeze. That's got it. Now, what do you think? How does that look? Get our chains out, hang it up and see what we think. Maybe I should have sorted the chains out first. And a few more of these ones that I'm thinking of as leaves. There we go. Right. I shall do a little bit of arranging and titivating, and I'll show you, and we'll make a decision if I need to actually do some more beaded strings. And there we are, all finished. I've brought it outside and put it on my washing line, so please excuse the view. Just because the sun is just about starting to go down, and I thought it would look a bit brighter with some sunlight going through it. There you go. What do you think? I'm not 100% certain that I like this. I think it's going to need some tweaking and some manipulating of the wires to get the positions sorted out, and I'm not sure if it does need a few more pieces putting into it, but it is quite pretty the way it sparkles. Hopefully you can see it in the sunlight. It's quite pretty out here, so I think on a windowsill it'll look quite nice. What do you think? First attempt at a beaded plant. How would you have done it differently? I think in light of the amount of beads this is already used, I think this is going to be quite an expensive thing to make, so I don't know that I'll be making any for the shop. Anyway, let me know in your comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe and follow. Bye bye now.